Welcome to Coach's Corner, everybody. Thanks for watching the show. I'm your host, Coach Tripp. I'm with a special guest, Boo Weekley. Boo, man, thanks for joining the show today.
I appreciate it, Coach. Thank you for having me on.
My gosh, perseverance pays off. If I had anything, I had perseverance. I've been trying to get you on my show for 12, 13 years. Toggy's a hard guy to get through.
Well, I unfortunately, me and Toggy done had our outs, and
Oh, did you?
so, yeah, that's probably the reason why we don't get along. We haven't got a hold of each other's because of that.
Oh my gosh. Boo, man, let's start from the beginning so our listeners know your story, man. You're from Milton down here in the Panhandle, Pensacola. Talk about your mom and dad and your siblings growing up.
Oh, well, my mom and dad. My dad was a pharmacist, and he was always working independent pharmacist at that. And then my mom was a nurse for a long time, and then she quit that and started helping my dad out at the drugstore. And then my little sister, she went to South Alabama, went to the University of Alabama, and graduated from the University of the Big A. And then there's me that I went to a junior college in Tifton, Georgia, and dropped out and came home and went to work at Monsanto for 3 or 4 years. Actually, 3 years is what I was there for. And and that's kind of the wrap up of what we did. We lived on Blackwater River as a kid, and we hunted and fished, and that's just the way of life. We mess with cows and all the other animals.
Would you rather be hunting, fishing, or golfing?
I'd much rather be hunting and fishing. But at the same time, now I get the good Lord bless me on my golf, and
yes, he did.
He gave me an opportunity to go out and make plenty of money, and to be able to support my bad habits, my hunting.
Oh my God! You played a lot of sports as a kid, so you're athletic. You played football, basketball, baseball. Talk about playing all the different sports and then getting hurt and shifting.
Well, yeah. I mean, playing. Grew up mostly playing baseball and football. Because that was kind of like the big sports in Milton. And
Yeah.
I played baseball, was good. I was left-handed. Kind of pitched both hands. Batted both ways, and then played football. I was kind of running back. Did a little bit of that linebackers, safety. I was pretty quick back then. Now you couldn't tell I was quick back then because I'm a little overweight now. But that's what golf will do to you. You get a little lazy a little bit in golf. You can you get to have a couple cocktails while you're playing golf and stuff.
Little beer belly.
Yeah, I got a beer belly. That's about right. Yes, sir. But I played basketball in high school. Me and Heath Slocum played in the 9th grade year. He was the point guard, and I was just the guard. And we played that, and I broke my arm playing basketball, tore my shoulder up playing baseball, messed my knee up playing football, messed my ankles up playing soccer. So I was kind of like, I got to find another sport. And my daddy was kind of like, yeah, you do. You ain't going to lay around the house and just suck up my AC and eat up all my food around here. You're going to have to find something to do unless you want to go get you a job. And I was kind of like, well, I'll figure something out. And my mom just started playing golf, and that was around 88, 87. And I was like about to be a freshman in high school. And that was kind of like how I got into golf, was 'cause my mom was like, here it is, let's go try this out. And like I said, I was left-handed, and, I felt better from the left side. And then the high school golf coach was Gene Howard at the time. When we were kids, he was the auto mechanic teacher and the golf coach, and he was real good. He was a real good instructor, and he flipped me over from left-handed to right-handed, and was like, "Hey, man, try this." And I started doing it, and then next thing I know, I fell in love with the game, the actual competition of the game, because now it's just you versus the golf course and the other people you're playing. It's just not a team sport.
Wow, your mother started you, and she got golfing. Thank God she started golfing and get you interested.
Oh yeah, my mom was good. My mama was she was a 4-time all-state fast pitch softball, person, and she played, when we were kids, they used to have a bunch of church leagues around here when we were at First Baptist in Milton, Florida, and she used to play for, First Baptist, and my daddy did too a little bit, but my daddy can't walk and chew bubble gum. My mama had all the ability to play the sports. But
You get all the
and thank
talent from
goodness I
Mama
got
Bear.
that from my mama's side of the family, because my uncle played, baseball for some people or for college, and my grandparents, they were always bowlers, and they
Yeah.
were always playing softball and stuff like that as a kid growing up. So, like I said, my mom was always at a ball field somewhere playing softball or baseball or whatever, and
Wow, what a
just
great story. What a great story. All right, so you go off. Let's talk a little bit about your buddy Heath Slocum. He was what, a grade under you?
no, 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 no. We graduated high school together.
Oh, you
I had
did?
a little more fun in school than he did, so I got held back a little bit. You know what I mean? No, I got held back for sports. Because back in the day, Coach Madison, which you probably know who he is, being a
Yep.
football coach and stuff, and
Oh yeah.
my daddy played for him back in the day, and he told him, he said, if your son's got any kind of ability in sports, hold him back. It'll help him mature a little bit, and
Yeah.
and so Daddy kind of took that to heart, and he held me back, and which
Oh
it helped
wow.
out a lot because I did get a little more mature in sports, and it's not as a kid because
Right.
I'm a boy, I mean, I'm gonna do
Right.
stupid things.
Right. Right. Absolutely, man. That was brilliant advice, man. I wish I'd have done it with my son because he would have matured one more year, would have made a huge difference. Oh, that's
Yes, sir.
awesome. Okay, so you go to Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College, and and they try to play on the golf team there, but it wasn't for you, and you came back and you worked at Monsanto for 3 years. What were those 3 years like? I know, I didn't make the money you did or anybody else really did in pro football or pro sports, but my dad had me work at Cisco at nighttime in the freezer, the third shift at night. So he would motivate me, to do something besides hard labor all my life. What did those years at Monsanto teach you?
Oh, well, I mean, I've always growing up with the family I had. I lived mostly with my grandparents as a kid because I helped my granddaddy with the cows and stuff like that. And plus, they lived on the river, and I loved to fish, and like I said, I loved to hunt. But the thing that taught me the most was, just being who I was as a person and growing up. Understanding that, just because you're like my parents, they make good money, and that's their money, you know what I mean, and I had to
Right,
learn to make my own money and learn to go out and do my own thing and live my life and learn the values of life and values of money,
right,
and that was kind of like one of the things that my daddy and my grandparents always taught me is, you got to go earn your own self. Just because your last name, what we've done with the last name don't mean you can just follow in our footsteps because of your last name. You got to go out and
right.
produce your own self and make your own name for who you are. And that kind of always stuck with me, as
Yeah,
growing up as a kid and growing up as an adult. And I still believe that to this day. For every action that I do, it's a reaction that's
right,
going to come back on my name or come back on me as a person. And it's like who you associate yourself with, just because, you're with them and they all get in trouble. Well, guess what? Now your name's linked with that trouble, and
right,
so
right. Exactly.
that,
It's a good
that
lessons to teach your child too, as well.
yes, sir. And that's what I've been teaching my children. But
Yeah,
Monsanto at the time it was called Monsanto. I can't think of the name of what it's called now. Send or something like that. Now is what it's called. But I really enjoyed working out there. I learned how to I met a lot of different people along the way. A lot of people has helped me in my career as not in golf, but just as a person growing up. And
right.
and to be able to work and say I worked out there is an honor. And at the same time, I learned a lot of what I didn't want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it
You
humbled
know,
you on the golf course too, man. You have so much fun playing golf. I always like to have fun when I'm playing golf. I have a brother that gets a little upset, but talk about how lucky you were and how you got all the mini tours. I'm gonna start throwing names out at you because I know like Ben Bates is like the Crash Davis of mini tours, right?
oh yeah, he's been around for a long time. Benny, I didn't know Benny that well until because we played the Teardrop Tour, which is one of the mini tours back in the day, and
Yeah,
I met him down there. I knew he was from Savannah, or not Savannah, but Havana, yeah, Havana, which is
yeah,
right outside of Tallahassee and all. And I knew who he was, but didn't know him personally, you know. And then I got to meet him down there playing in a couple of tournaments. We got paired together, and you know, and he was kind of like a role model for a little while there, you know. And then as we got to playing, and then we got on a nationwide tour, you know, I met him, got to see him some more out there because he went on and got his PGA tour card, and then went ahead and got his, and lost his tour card and went to nationwide tour at the time, or
Yeah.
the buy.com, and I got to meet him out there a few times, and then we got to
Well,
rooming together with me and him and Josh Broadway and a couple other guys, and you know, and he's a good, he's a good person, great hearted guy, and help out anybody you can help out when
didn't
it's
he
in.
play all the time the practice rounds with Fuzzy Zeller and John Daly? Didn't he play practice rounds with those guys a lot?
He did, yes, sir. He did a lot, and I, you know, and I got to play a few times with Fuzzy, and got to play with Lee, and you know, because there's certain little, like, it's kind of like there's groups, as always. Everything that
Right,
you do, you know, everything that you do around here, you know, you got your different groups of people that you don't mind being with or you like being with, and
right.
you know, and so that bunch was some of the ones that he likes to hang around with because it fit his personality and who he was as a person and as a player.
Who'd you play with? Who'd you play practice rounds with? Who were your buddies?
I mean, I play with, like, out on tour. I play with Heath, and like I said, I
Heath.
play with Josh Broadway. I play with Tim O'Neill a few times. That just won on the Champions Tour. I mean, there was a bunch of different ones. You know, I mean,
Right.
I'm one of these ones. I've never met a stranger. You know what I mean? Like, I just, my the whole demeanor in life is, you know, you if you don't ask questions, you ain't gonna learn nothing.
That's
But at
right.
certain times, you got to keep your mouth shut so you can learn something.
That's right. Exactly, man. All right. So Heath had a big influence on you, and I guess his dad Jack did too. Jack
Oh yes, sir.
Slocum. So
Yeah,
him and Hiram Cook, Jack Slocum and Hiram Cook. Talk about those guys.
Well, Heath mostly because, you know, that back in when we was in middle high school, you know, 'cause that's when I met Heath. They just moved to Tanglewood, and they were living with a friend of mine, Sonny Northup, that I grew up playing baseball with, and Jack was our head pro at the Tanglewood golf course here where we live at, or was living at down
Yeah.
there, and Heath was always the one to beat. You know, I mean, he was like the number one player even when he was in the ninth grade, it seemed like, you know. And then my whole goal was is if I can compete with him, I can beat anybody,
Oh yeah, that's
you
right.
know. And then, like, Jack, you know, Jack started the mini tours, and I was working out at Montana, you know, and he invited me to come out and play because he needed some people to fill in for the tournament because he didn't quite have enough people. And you know, he kind of got me back into actually playing golf because I was, like I said, I was working at Monsanto, you know, making $6.25 an hour, you know, out there, and you know, been out there for 3 years, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Hey man, come and play in this mini tour event. You know, it's at the Moors.
No,
We're gonna, you
wow.
know, put this on, and I need some people to fill in." So I had to ask my foreman, Mr. Ralph, if I can come in there and play. And he was like, "Yeah, man, go play, you know, but we're doing a shutdown. So you got to come back and finish the shutdown out. And, you know, when you get done playing." I was like, "Yes, sir, I will." So I'd go and play that morning. And I shot like 66 or
Whoa.
65, something. I shot something crazy. Well, when I got done, I went and took a shower, put on my work clothes, and I went to work. Well, when like I said, we're doing a shutdown, so we, you know, they work in 12 to 24-hour shutdowns. So
Whoa.
I went to work, and when I got done with work that day, you know, I told my foreman Ralph, I said, "Hey man, I got to be at the golf course at 10 o'clock. My tee time's at 10." And I said, "Can I leave around 8:30?" And he said, "Yeah, man, that's fine." So at 8:30, I left. I went back drove to the golf course, took me about a 30-minute nap, jumped up, jumped in the shower, went out, hit a few balls, warmed up, and then went and played again. Well, I shot another low score, like in the 60 something. And then I turned back around, got done, went back to work. And, you know, I did that. And then the last day, I ended up winning the tournament by, I think, 2 or 3 shots, something like that. And Jack says, "Well, you know, you're a pro if you accept this money. And if you don't accept it, you're still an amateur." And I said, "Well, how much is the money?" And he said, "It's $3,000. And I said, "Are you kidding me?"
I'm a pro.
I said, "I'm a pro, buddy. I'm a pro golfer." Yes, sir. So I took that money and ran. I went in there and called my mom and pa up because, you know, they, like I said, they were in, you know, my daddy was a pharmacist. So I called the drugstore down there. You know, we didn't have cell phones. And I
Right.
called down there, and my mom happened to answer the phone. at the drugstore, and I said, "Hey, Mom." She goes, "Yes, son. What's going on?" I said, "Y'all busy?" She says, "Well, yeah, we're pretty busy." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Well, you ain't gonna believe this." She said, "What?" I said, "I just got through playing in a mini tour event." She goes, "Why ain't you at work?" La la la. She was, just getting all over my butt about it, and I told her, I said, "Listen, Mom, just listen." And she goes, "Well, hold on, I'll put this on speakerphone for a second. I want your daddy to hear this, what you're doing." And the next thing I know, they're listening to it, and boy, they were all like, they were hand over fist trying to get to me, I think, through the phone. And I told them, I said, "Listen," I said, I'm quitting my job. I'm gonna turn in my 2 week notice. I'm gonna finish up this. I'm just gonna play the mini tours. And they were like, "Well, you don't have the money to play the mini tours." And I said, "Well, I've saved up. I think I saved up 5,000, and then plus this 3,000 I got." And I was like, and they were, "Well, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go try to play the mini tours. It can't cost that much, and which,
Yeah,
like I said, I was dumbfounded, didn't know much about it, and learning how to, just go through everything. And
sure.
so I took the money and ran with it, and then I ended up getting some sponsors at the golf course I was at, and I went to, like, I think there was 20 of them, 20 guys that gave me $1,000 a piece. And
Wow.
then it was, yeah, and I kind of set it up with a contract, where they signed the contract, and I wrote
Right.
down the names of
Right.
everybody that gave money and how much they gave. And I did a 75-25 on the contract. So every time I made a check, they got 75% of it, and I got 25% of it until I got them paid back. Till I got all their money paid back, and then I flip flopped it. It went 25-75 then. And so
Yeah.
at the end of the year, after I paid my taxes and paid everything out, then I'd pay them their money,
Wow.
And so it worked out pretty good there for a
Hey, they
long
were
time.
champions. They were champions for you when nobody else was there for you.
That's right. It was, and then once I got my tour card, I wrote everybody an extra. If they gave me $1,000, I wrote them an extra $1,000 check. You know what I mean? I gave them $2,000 for a bonus for helping me out all the years. You know what I mean? And that's the
100%
whole
interest
thing.
on that money.
Mm-hmm.
Now they wish they'd send you like 30,000 or 50,000.
Well, I paid everybody off, buddy. that was my. I think that was 2000, and I want to say it was around 2006, or no, it was 2001 when I wrote it.
2001. So your mini tours and then your big year, 2007. Folks, we're talking with Boo Weekley. That's right. 3-time winner on the PGA Tour, twice back-to-back Verizon Heritage, and then the 2013 Crown Plaza Invitational. I guess that Verizon Heritage Tournament is a special place in your heart, Boo. Talk about your first victory and then repeating the next year.
Oh yeah, well we were coming in that year. We were playing good. The whole year we were working up to the Verizon tournament there at Hilton Head. We've been playing pretty solid and played good in Mexico. I think I finished fifth in Mexico, and then the following tournament was at the Honda, which is in Palm Springs, Florida, down there, and or Palm Beach, whatever it's called, down in South Florida. And I was played real well, and I three putted the last hole to lose the tournament, or to get us all into a 5-way playoff.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was kind of like bummed out, of course, that I didn't win. That I felt like that should have been my first win of
Right.
as a professional on the PGA Tour, and so I was kind of like bummed out a little bit. And then we had a week off because the Masters was the following week, I think, and then I played Tampa. I think it was. I might have went to Tampa, whatever, but it was right after, because Heritage is always after the Masters.
Yeah.
And when I got there to the golf course, my agent Jimmy Johnson, he rented a house, and there's like, I think, 4 players, and then one of the guys that lives there, or don't live there, but he coaches. He's a putting instructor and a little bit of a golf swing instructor for a couple of the guys. And I got to picking his brain a little bit, and then ended up being that he was staying at the same house, and we happened to be rooming together in the same room because we had like little beds upstairs, and we stayed in the loft. And so at night, I just sit there and pick his brain a little bit about putting, because that's always been my weakest link of what I've done in my career.
Right.
And so he said, "Well, let's go to the golf course tomorrow. And if I get done working with Lucas Glover and a couple of other guys, I'll look at what you got." And so I was like, "Yes, sir." So that afternoon, I don't remember, it was like a Monday afternoon or a Tuesday afternoon. We got to messing around there, and he got to showing me little things, and little pressure points in my hand, and just little stuff, 3-foot putts, because that's where I struggled at, like 5 foot, and then I always struggled. And he kind
Right.
of like just helped me out a lot and just showed me
Sure.
little things that I needed to do to concentrate a little harder on. And he said, you can't control nothing after you pick your line. All you can do now is just pick your speed and just trust what you're doing. You practice this is why you practice. It's just like everything in life. Why you do it is because you're setting something in motion,
Right.
and you just got to
Right.
keep doing it. Whether you think it's right or wrong, you just got to keep doing it, and sooner or later it's going to tell the tale, And
Right.
that's what
Right.
I did. And next thing I know, I started playing, started making my putts, and then I ended up winning that tournament that year, which I chipped in back to back, which is very, very rare to chip in back to back to win a PGA event.
The 3 events you won, man. But your buddy Heath has you by one, right? He's just like a kid.
Oh yeah.
He has 4.
Yep, him and Joe Durant, and Joe's one of my far off cousins,
Oh
on
yeah,
the
talk a
Weekley
little bit
side.
about Joe Durant, man. What a great guy he is.
Oh man, he's Joe's. And you go on the PGA tour, you go from the nationwide tour to Nike tour, buy.com tour, all the way to the PGA tour, and you ask who the nicest guy to play golf with, the nicest guy that you just be around, and
Yeah.
he's always won it as a professional. Joe Durant is always the nicest guy. I mean, you can
Wow.
ask anybody on the PGA tour. I mean, and anywhere out there, he is always the nicest guy, and he's
All right,
won
now
that award every year.
why isn't ESPN done a 30 for 30 on you 3 guys from Milton?
Well,
That
there's
in the
4. Yeah,
same high
me.
school, you guys were, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 2007. You and Heath played in the World Cup, but I think it was that year that all 3 of you and Bubba Watson were ranked in the top 25 in the world or something.
I don't know if we were top
30,
25 in
30
the
I think
world,
top
but
30 or something.
we was in the top something in the world. I don't remember, but one of the craziest things about that is Jack Slocum got Heath through Q school, and then Jack got me through Q school, and then and I went. I think it was 5 years without making it past second stage or first stage, and then Jack
Wow.
got on my bag to help me, and I went through all 3 stages with Jack on the bag, and then he did the same thing for Bubba Watson, and it took Bubba like 4 years, 5 years to go through Q school, and then he finally got through with Jack on the bag too.
Wow.
Yeah,
Holy
that's
cow.
crazy, And Jack,
That
I mean,
is crazy.
he's an awesome.
Let's talk about caddies. My friend Lauren Odger's husband Dan, God rest his soul, was one of yours. How many? What makes a good caddy, and how many have you had?
Oh, I can't tell you exactly how many I've had because I went through a pile of them out there on the nationwide tour at the time. Because Dan caddied for me my rookie year out on the PGA.
Oh, did he?
Because because me and Dan played a lot of golf together. I mean, growing up, Dan just really kind of got into golf, and I've been playing golf, and I started helping Dan out, trying to teach him a little bit because his hand-eye coordination was awesome because he played professional baseball, and
Yeah, right, right,
he's a good person, and I mean he worked hard at what he believed in, and so I was like, well,
right.
dude, I'm gonna bring you out there with me, and we can work on this and this and this, and he can read greens good, and and I trusted him, and that's
Right,
the hardest
right,
thing to do is you got to find a caddy you can trust and
right.
believe in. And you kind of got to train them a little bit to where like he'll know when you're down or he'll know when you're up, or when you're
Yeah,
pumped and when you're not pumped, and how to
right.
say things to get you pumped and how to calm you down a little bit if you get a little nervous. And so there's a lot that goes into caddying, and
Right.
I've like I said, I've had a pile of caddies, and then my other caddy from Dan, and like I said, I had a pile of them. I don't know, probably 15 to 20 different caddies during that time, and then a guy named Joe Piling came around, and we all went to high school together. Me and Joe and Heath. He played on a high school golf team with us,
Oh, okay.
and Joe was at the time he was working for a college. I can't remember exactly what college up in Alabama. He was doing something, and he just got out of the military. and he was kind of doing that. Well, he came home from on leave from school or break from school or something, and we ran across each other and we was playing golf. And I talked to him. I said, "Hey man, why don't you come out and caddy for me a couple events and just see if you like it or not, And he's like, "Well, yeah, let me, because he was out for break. I think it was like Christmas break or something like that, or fall break or spring break, one of them. And he came out and caddied, and we won a couple mini tour events together. And I was like, "Well, dang, dude, you're pretty good at this, and you keep me pretty calm. You make me laugh."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, all right, well, you want to try it?" And I said, "Well, yeah." I said, "Let's, I got a little bit of nationwide tour status." I said, "Let's see if we can, get in a couple of these." Well, we got in a couple of them. I top 10'd it and got to the next tournament, and I top 10'd it, got to the next tournament. And next thing I know, we got on a run, and then here we go. And I think that was 2005.
Right.
Yep. And
Right.
then 2006, he worked the whole year with me, and we finished, I think, fifth in Money of Merits, which got my PGA Tour card back for 2007. And then
Wow.
he caddied for me. We won twice together. We caddied together all the way to 2010, and then we kind of had a little, or no, I think it was either 10 or 11, and
Yeah.
I needed to have some surgery, and I was kind of down and out, and I was kind of being an ass on the golf course. I'm gonna say it like that.
Right.
And
Right.
he kind of got tired of it and told me that, hey, he's gonna check out with me and go work for somebody else. And so
Well, you
we
guys
kind
had
of,
a good run, man. You guys did have a good run with your high school teammate, man.
oh
Your
yeah, we had a
World
real good
Cup,
run.
Ryder, they did Ryder Cup. All right, let's talk about the Ryder Cup, man. What was that the most nervous, or did your buddy Joe help you calm you down? How is it? I guess making jokes is a fun way to calm the nerves. Like when you were working at Monsanto, I remember playing my best round of golf when I had very little sleep because I think I was just calm. You can't get too worked up. It's not like other sports where you get all pumped up. Golf is just the opposite. You have to be really calm mind.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that. I mean, I still like to get worked up. I like, I mean, I think if you get worked up, you'll learn, you kind of know how to control your actions a little
Right,
better, and
right.
if you stay at an even calm, then you kind of like, that's how Heath is. He's a calm guy. He used to be real calm on the golf course. You couldn't tell if he made a triple bogey or if he just made five birdies in a row. To where if I made a triple bogey, I'm over there about ready to throw my bag in the water. You know what I mean? Or I'm over there kicking my bag, I'm going like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs out there, man. But yeah, like the Ryder Cup. I mean, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was a nerve wracking thing. It was more of an honor because I'm playing for
Yeah,
my country. Just like when
right,
we play for the World Cup. We ain't playing for us no more.
right.
I'm playing for every citizen that's in the United States. And I know a lot of people don't care nothing about golf. I know a lot of people that do care about golf. But at the same time, I felt like I was representing everybody in the United States when I stepped up on that tee box and they said, "Now playing for the United States, Boo Weekley." Well, in my heart, I'm carrying everybody on my shoulders.
Wow.
And I mean that's how I felt. But at the same time, it wasn't nerve wracking because I mean it's golf. They can't kill me and eat me out there. That's the greatest. That's
Nobody's
the
going to
greatest
take you.
thing.
Yeah, nobody's going to come out of the green over to the tee and take your head off with a
Right.
clothesline. God.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And to me, that it was an honor to be able to say I'm representing the United States, whether we win, lose, or draw. I mean, I'm finna give it 100%. And I mean, like I said, I'm a dang redneck. That's all there is to it. I'm a redneck, and I love the game of golf. I love the competition, and it is what it is.
It's so hard, but that's what makes I think what makes it a challenge for a lot of people. It's so difficult to be good at. And do you see paralysis by analysis standing over the ball sometimes? How do you get rid of paralysis by analysis? Just one or two swing thoughts?
Well, first thing is I don't even know what that means, and the next thing is
like
I
you're
just
thinking too much. You're
concentrate.
thinking about like your grip, your stance. I know a lot of amateurs tell me that.
No, I mostly. I mean, the whole thing is it's all preparation. Everything that you do is you prep yourself to every situation in golf. You
Wow.
know, I mean, you go like I'll go hit 400 or 500 balls out of bunkers. You know what I
Wow.
mean? And I'll practice bunker shots, and then I'll go over to the side of the green where there's the rough sticker at. Well, I'll sit there and I'll chip probably 100 or 200 balls out of that thick rough, but I'll use different clubs,
Wow.
to figure out how the ball releases different or how the ball checks different. I mean, and then you stand
Wow.
over like when I'm out there just hitting range balls, practicing. It's one thing if I'm just going out there to practice and just hit balls, warm up, and go play with my buddies, or
Right.
either I'm sitting there actually practicing where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna hit, 5 low shots, like punch shots, and I'm gonna turn around and hit 5 high shots. Then I'm gonna turn around and hit 5 little draws, and I'm gonna turn around and hit 5 cuts.
Wow.
So every shot, it's got to practice. It's important.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Muscle
and
memory. So you the muscle memory.
your swing's muscle memory, yes, but at
Yep.
the same time, you got to think about what you're doing, what you're practicing. So when you get into certain situations, like I mean, you go over and like a lot of times, a lot of people don't hit off a hard pan. You know what I mean? And
Right.
the hard pan is just where the dirt's just been compressed down. It ain't real sandy. It's just like hitting off a concrete, more or less.
Right. Right.
You go over there and you sit there and like I'll go like at Tanglewood and I'll practice, hitting off a hard pan, hitting low cuts, and at the same time I'll go and work on hitting draws off of it, and then I'll go over and I'll find a fluffier lie and I'll work on hitting what they call flyers or knuckleballs out of the
Wow.
grass.
Yeah.
So you'll learn how far the ball's going to fly out of it. You learn, what to expect, when to expect it, and how to expect it.
Yeah. Situational analysis. That you, as long
Yes,
as
sir.
you're prepared properly, you're not nervous, right? It's like
Right.
anything
It's
else.
it's it's just anything else. It ain't no different. Like you stand on that range, and like I said, like I would hit anywhere between 500 to 1,000 balls a day when I was younger,
Wow. Wow.
and like all the way that I got on the PGA Tour, I would still hit probably anywhere between 300 to 700 balls a day. And not every day, but I would say at least 4 days a week, I would hit that many balls. Even if I got done playing on Thursday and I had a bad day of ball striking, or a Friday, I'd
Right.
have a bad day of ball striking. You count the balls that I warm up with, and you count the balls that you play with, and then you go out there and you work on where you messed up at. Whether it's like, your long irons are not flying right. They're going like, I'm cutting them too much. Well, I'll go out there and work on hitting cuts, and I'll
Right.
work out there
Yeah.
going out there hitting draws. So it's
Yeah.
you always working at something, because it's the hardest game to
Yep.
me mentally to prepare yourself for, because you don't ever know the expectations of what's going to happen. You don't know if it's going to be calm that first day, and then the next day it's going to be blowing 15 or 20, or it might be raining.
Yeah.
And you got to be mentally prepared for all the situations that you get
Right.
into.
Have uh, have you played with Tiger Woods, and how many times? Because he always moves the needle like no other.
Yeah, I played with him a couple times. I mean, I'd say probably 10 or 12 times, and played a
Have
few
you?
practice rounds with him. And he's fun to watch. I mean, he's
Yeah,
a,
he's
a
fun to
fun
watch.
person to be around to me personally. I mean, a lot of people don't like him, and a lot of people, that's each to their own. You know
Yeah,
what I
right.
mean? But
Hey,
at the same time, I mean, he does push the needle, and he has a lot to offer even people like me, that knows how to play the game, but just to, hey man, how'd you hit that shot? And he'd be like, well, this is what I do, and sometimes you got to break it down into your own swing and not his swing.
right, right,
I mean, and that's like, I get on to my stepson sometimes because he watches too much of that, golf on whatever on these phones. You
right,
know what I mean? And to their own, like I said, just because he teaches that way might work for that player, but at the
right,
same time, it ain't gonna work for you. Now you can go out and try it, but if you try it, you don't go out and try it. Try it. I mean, you got to try it like for the whole day, and
right,
not just that day. You got to try it for 3 or 4 or 5 days to make
right.
sure this will not fit into your program or the way you swing or the way you get about it. So.
Champions Tour difference. What is the difference? Is it no cuts? Is that the big difference? And is it good to see some of your old buddies from the tour out on Champions Tour?
Oh man, it's a ball to get to see some of my buddies out there, getting to play with them and
Yeah,
hanging out with them and talking with them and checking, seeing how their families are and
uh,
looking at their families and seeing their kids now are grown like my kids,
yeah,
and it's fun to be able to see them. And yeah, it's awesome to be able to play on the Champions Tour because it's a dream come true. Because I've got to play the Nationwide Tour or the bottom. The bottom. I got to play all the mini tours, the Nationwide tours, the Corn Ferry Tour, Buy.com Tour, the PGA Tour. Now I get to play the Senior Tour, and the good Lord's blessed me to be able to have the opportunity to do all that, and to be able to play and not have a cut and not have to worry about it. But all you got to do is go out there and just concentrate on what you're trying to accomplish, which is play the game of golf and play it at the highest level that you can play it. And them guys on the Senior Tour, they're just as good as the guys on the PGA Tour. The only difference is we just don't hit it as far as the guys on the PGA Tour do now.
Right.
I mean,
Absolutely.
our bodies don't cooperate as well. Now you got a couple of them out there like Tim O'Neill. I played with him last Saturday, and Padre Harrington and BJ and what's his name?
Is Ernie Els still? He plays a lot.
Yeah, Ernie hits it a long ways. I mean, they still guys that can move it out there. 290.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes 300, and every now and then I'll hit one that might get 300 if I hit a sprinkler head and maybe a 150 marker or something like that. But it's fun to be able to play, man. It's like I said, it's an honor to be able to play at this level and still be able to do it and compete.
Oh my God, man! I'm moving into another house, Boo. So I lost my Boo Weekley hat that you signed for me years ago, man. I don't know. I think I won it at a golf tournament, but it's like that Coach Brian picture. It's like missing for the moment, but you'll have to send me another one, man.
Oh yeah, well I got I've been sponsored by Bridgestone for the last year and a half, and they got their own balls, and I'm playing the Bridgestone ball, and
Yeah.
we just did a ad that's going to be airing here soon on TV for Halloween in the golf community, and they come out with a ball because it says, a Bridgestone ball has a B on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, I got them to put the two zeros beside it, so now it says Boo. So that's going to be pretty neat. They just sent out all the stuff today that they want me to put on Instagram and email, or not
Oh my
email, but
God.
on Facebook and all that. Which I don't do all that stuff. My wife
Yeah.
Susan does it all, and
Yeah.
I'm not big on these phones. I use them to
I hear
talk
you.
with and do what I got to do, but like I'm not big on them.
Man, I can't let you go without talking about our favorite football team, man, Bama football, huh? I mean, we were lucky, we had two of the legends, the greatest ever we lived in, Coach Brian and Coach Saban. I think it's unrealistic to expect that DeBoer would be another legend. I mean, they don't grow on trees, right? They're not a dime a dozen.
No, they're not a dime a dozen, but at the same time, I mean, it all comes with maturity and knowing the players and learning
Yeah.
the players and learning how to cope with them and learning how to the actual make them play and go and do the things that they need to do to help the team. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
not an individual sport just because you're playing you're a defensive back or you're a cornerback or you're a free safety or you're the quarterback. You know what I mean? Everything you do is, like I said, it's all set in motion by your teammates.
It's all new, too. All new system, all new
Yep.
people. Everything's
And
new. Give him a
I
break.
think if we need to give him a
A
good
break.
break. Let
Yeah.
him work it out. Let him, because we, just like when Coach Saban came in, I mean, we went like I think 8-3 the
Eight and
first
five.
year, or
Five.
8-5 or something,
Yeah. Something like
something
that.
crazy,
Yeah.
I mean, and look at what I mean, he just won a national championship at LSU and then went to Miami and
Yeah.
and he comes to Alabama, and we gave him a chance. We gave him 34 years, and I think we need to do the same thing with Coach we got
Yeah.
there right now, and to
Yeah.
see if he can control the players. In which college football is going to doo doo in a handbasket to me personally because all this NIL money and all that stuff. I mean, I think they should have come up with a system like. If you're a 1-star, you get $100,000. 2-star, 200,000, 3-star. All the way up to
Right.
5 stars. And then
Yeah.
you can be a 1-star, but you can work your way up to a 5-star.
Right. You should earn that. That was originally, it was for Boo, for the guys that, were already playing name, image, and likeness. It wasn't for guys to recruit off it. You're right. They jumped the gun way too early before they had anything in place. One more question, buddy. You got any advice for some young guys, the young golfers out there that want to persevere and go through a lot of times before they make it like you did? How can they, what can they do? Practice?
My biggest thing is believe in what your system is. Believe in everything that you set yourself up to do. If you're weak at, off the driver, you don't hit a lot of fairways. Well, you need to go out and find you a place and practice where you just focus on hitting drivers.
Right.
But believe what you're doing. Biggest thing is it's the hardest game. It's the hardest game to ever play, because it's, the only person there is you. The only person that can tell you wrong or right is you.
Right.
So the biggest thing is I just say you got to believe in yourself and what your system is and how you set yourself up and the preparation of practice,
Preparation, confidence. Great advice, Boo. Great advice, man. Yeah, that'll take you a long way, man, to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. So
that's exactly right. And ain't nobody giving it to you. You got to earn it, You got to earn it.
Thanks, man. Thanks for being on the show, bud.
Thank you, Coach.
I appreciate you so much, man. Have a great one. Well, man, I'd love to go out and hit it around with you someday, man. It'll be on my bucket list to do. That'd be a blast.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, buddy. Good luck, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach.
Wow. That was great. Boo Weekley, 3-time PGA Tour champion. It's just a great interview. He's funnier now, man. He's so much fun. I would love to go play golf or go fishing, go hunting with him. Hey, stay tuned for these great messages. Everybody have a great sports weekend. We will talk to you soon. So long.
There's a reason why Hill Kelly in Pensacola is the #1 selling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealer between Jacksonville and New Orleans. While other dealers have taken advantage of a competitive market with higher prices, Hill Kelly has discounted prices to the lowest of the year. And Hill Kelly in Pensacola won't surprise you with excessive charges beyond the selling price. Come see why people from Milton, Pace, Foley, Bay Minette, Daphne, Gulf Shores, Mobile, and beyond are driving to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to buy their next new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. At Hill Kelly, the bottom line price and your satisfaction are what really matter. So before you sign, check the bottom line and make the trip to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to see what true local ownership can do for you. At Hill Kelly Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Highway 29 in Car City, Pensacola. Or shop online 24/7 at hillkellydodge.com. When it comes to bottom line pricing, nobody beats a Hill Kelly deal. Nobody.
Drive a little to save a lot on 170 Buicks and GMCs at Step 1 Buick GMC. Get savings up to $4,000 on new Buick Encores, $9,450 on new Buick Envisions, $7,000 on new GMC Yukon XLs, or up to $15,345 off on new Sierras. Only at Step 1 Buick GMC, Pensacola. Plus tax, tag, title, license, dealer processing fee expires 7/31/24 on select new 24 in-stock models. Discount off MSRP includes all incentives.
That's you trying to fix the plumbing yourself to save a few bucks. Doing things yourself doesn't always end well. The same goes for insurance. That's why Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage to meet your needs and offer discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance. Because sometimes you need a professional to get the job done right. That's simple human sense.
Are you riding around in a filthy vehicle? Dirty car no more. Visit Ronnie's Car Wash today to get it shining in no time. They have 3 convenient locations with another coming soon. The unlimited monthly wash packages start as low as $14.95 per month with free vacuums, multi-purpose spray, and towels. Visit them in Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, and soon Crestview. Don't wait, wash today. Be sure to see Ronnie's Car Wash on Facebook to see the latest specials and discounts. You'll be riding and shining in no time.
75 years of service and high tech today. It's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348. High tech is a term often applied to advanced services and products in today's marketplace. And today, glass is much more than the simple painted brittle, see-through stuff we hit baseballs through when we were kids. Glass is now a product with unique flexibility in both performance and application. And Pensacola Glass Company is growing right along. That's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348.
Barnes Heating and Air is a proud sponsor of Alabama football, serving the entire Pensacola community for over 50 years. Barnes Heating and Air is passionate about providing customers with world-class air conditioning and heating repairs, sales, and installation. Barnes Heating and Air is family-owned, insured, and committed to quality. For a free estimate, call 478-0141. Barnes Heating and Air is #1 in customer service with service calls 7 days a week. Call Barnes Heating and Air 478-0141 and roll Tide.